Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Erica. And in today's video, I thought it would be really fun to share some unique color stories that I have in my collection with you guys. I did do this video, I think over a year ago, and I showed you guys palettes in my collection that have unique color stories or maybe not the most traditional color stories in the world. And a lot of you really enjoyed that video. So I thought, you know what? I've gotten more palettes in my collection since I filmed that video. So let's do this again. And what I've really determined since I started really falling in love with makeup about 4.5, 5 years ago, is as time has gone on, I really have fallen in love with palettes that have very unique or different color stories. Yes, I do have a lot of monochromatic palettes, and I love those palettes too, so don't get me wrong. And not to say that I will take a palette that has a unique color story and necessarily make like a unique look out of it, although I've done a few, I feel, more unique looks in my makeup loving career here. But it's still just really fun to talk about eyeshadow palettes in general. I'll talk about eyeshadow palettes no matter what, but to just focus on palettes that have really unique, diverse color stories, textures, that sort of thing. So that was my goal in creating this video today, is to pull out some palettes, some more recent palettes than that last video, and show them to you and talk about why I love the uniqueness of the color story, the types of shades that are in the palettes. So my goal today was to show you 15 palettes out of my collection that have unique color stories. And I ended up with 17 because there was just two that I'm like, I got to show these two. I have to. And these are not in any particular order. I'm not ranking these. I'm just grabbing them and showing them to you. I'm going to try really hard to not spend 20 minutes talking about and oohing and awing over each palette. But so I'm trying to get through this quickly so we're not here for too long. So let me start off with one that I recently used on my channel. This is the Nomad Royal Europe palette. And I am blown away by this palette. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, look at how awesome that color story is. And, you know, when you look at this palette, I would say that, you know, the looks that you can create with this palette may seem kind of obvious. Like if you do them by, what are this, rows, columns? This is row. If you look, you know, up and down the palette, you know, you could use these three shades together in a look, these three, you know, on down the palette. But you can also mix and match these shades too, you know. And I just think it's fun to have varying tones like this in a palette, even though, you know, a lot of them go really well together. But some of them, you know, are kind of on opposite spectrums of the color wheel from each other, I think, if I remember what the color wheel looks like in my mind. But I mean, I just think this has got such a beautiful mix of shades. And what really kicks this palette up a notch is the row of shimmers down here. I mean, they're just stunning. Very multi-chrome, duochrome, very flippy, very vibrant. I mean, they're just stunning. And depending on how the light's hitting them, they look completely different. You know what I mean? Oh, look at that. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. That is so gorgeous. So yeah, I think this is one of the most unique palettes I have in my collection, and really happy that I finally used it because I'd had it for a couple months and finally used it for my collab with Steph, and oh, cannot wait to use this again. Then we have the Melt Muerte palette, and the packaging is stunning. Isn't that gorgeous? And I remember the first time I saw this color story, it was when I didn't really have a whole lot of experience with makeup, and I remember thinking, there's no way I could use that. And I have used it once. I used, you know, this end of the palette, which was maybe an easy out for creating a look with it. You know, reds and blues together, reds and greens, that can be a little tricky because you can make your look kind of murky if you're not really wanting to do it. I mean, if you want a murky look, then go for it. But I just think this is such a stunning, unique, different color story. And I'm so happy that, I mean, I don't know. Yes, I do have more experience with putting eye looks together, but even still, this is a challenging color story for me, absolutely. But I just think it's gorgeous. I love the depth in here. I love the vibrancy in here too. I will say though, that there's a couple shades in this palette that I am a little concerned about their performance. This one especially, I don't know, it's very crumbly. And I do want to use this palette again. Several of you said that you'd like to see me use it again after I used it the last time, and have me focus on this side of the palette, which I will be doing that at some point, I promise. But I'm a little nervous because, like I said, this shade just, I don't know, man. I was like, what is wrong with this shade? Really happy that I have it. And I do think it's one of the most unique color stories in my collection, hands down. Then we have this one here. This is from Martine Cosmetics. This is the 669 palette. And I think this is absolutely a stunning packaged palette. Really fun. And the color story is so unique to me. The depth in here, the varying shades in here, the varying textures. You have duochrome, multi-chrome shimmers in here. I mean, just a really fun palette. And very grungy, very earthy, or maybe not earthy, vampy, grungy and vampy, I would say. And I just thoroughly enjoy using this palette. It's been a while since I've used it. I need to pull this out and use it again soon. But you know, just such different, just a different color story than anything I have in my collection. I mean, yes, I could pull 4 or 5 to 6 to 10 palettes together and create this, probably dupe this palette out, but who would want to do that, you know? You have all of it here in this palette. It's so gorgeous. And like I said, I love the packaging. It's like really fancy feeling. It's like that velveteen. I love it. Then we have one from Saints, Angels, Sinners, this cute little baby. This is the Xanadu palette. And again, just a very unique color story. You know, this is a palette that I would never think to put together. You know what I mean? That's the thing I love about Saints, Angels, Sinners palettes is that Darcy, the brand owner, has a very unique eye for color stories, pulling color stories together. And I mean, this would never have been in my mind. You know, I'm just not creative in that way anyway. But I mean, look at how gorgeous those shades are together. And this is such a fun palette. And Saints, Angels, Sinners has such a beautiful formula. Very beautiful mattes, beautiful shimmers, you know, really fun to create looks with Saints, Angels, Sinners palettes. But I really think this color story is so cool. And it's, you know, it's a small palette, but you have so many different options in here, which is really fun. Then we have one from Ladybug Glow, and this is the Murky Waters palette. And this is the first palette that I picked up from this brand. And this is the palette that did it for me, baby. Love it. And again, the shimmers in here, I mean, I even think the mattes are very unique, but look at the shimmer shades. I mean, look at how flippy they are, how unique they are. I mean, this is another color story that if I owned a makeup brand, I would never have thought to put together, ever. And everything in this palette works beautifully. The only matte I haven't used so far is this one. Did I use that one either? I don't think so. I think I still need to use both of these. And there's a couple shimmers up here I haven't used yet either. But my experience with this palette was just amazing. It was amazing. I highly recommend you guys checking out all the brands from that I'm going to show you today. Yeah, really a fun palette. And if I had more time here, I'd swatch them, but I just don't have time. I got to get ready to go to work here pretty soon. Then we have one from Gourmand Girls. This is the Ethereal palette, and this is an all shimmer palette. And so many unique options in here. Just gorgeous. Very duochrome, multi-chrome, metallic, you know, a lot of really fun finishes and shiftiness, and just such a fun palette to have. I'm so glad that I picked this up. I was really interested in this brand. I have another palette I'll show you from this brand too. And this is the second palette I picked up from this brand, and I just adore playing with this palette. And this is one that, you know, I have that weird thing that I do where I'm like, I want to save this forever, so I don't want to use it a ton. But, you know, I'm learning to get over that. It's ridiculous. But man, just so many fun shades in here. Just wonderful. Then I picked one up from Lethal Cosmetics, and this is the Evergreen palette. Absolutely blown away by the performance of this palette. Now, this one, I mean, you know, I think if you look at this, I would think that you could feel like most of these shades go together here. But there are some really unique pops of color in here, maybe some challenging pops of color in here, because sometimes with palettes, like I'll look at them and they're gorgeous, but I have no clue how to put a look together with them, you know? And I'm learning to try to like branch out a little bit more and learning how to put certain colors together that maybe I've struggled with in the past. But the formula of this palette is one of the best formulated palettes I have in my collection. Truly, it's just stunning. The mattes are so incredibly pigmented, but blend out so beautifully. And the shimmers, oh, now Lethal Cosmetics also sells singles, and I've thought about you can like build your own palette with them. And I've thought about doing that too, because they're so fun. So fun. This brand is a little bit out of my price range, so I don't know that I'll do that anytime soon, but definitely going to get through my 6-month no-buy. But man, isn't that fun? Just gorgeous. I love the flippiness of the shimmers in here too. Really pretty. Then we have another Ladybug Glow palette. This is the Galaxia Magica palette. Super cute packaging. And again, just a thoroughly unique color story. Purple, blue, pink, brown. I mean, you know, you got the neutral options, but you also have the really colorful options too. I love palettes like that. The formula of this palette is stunning. Mattes, shimmers, everything. Just gorgeous. Really, really fun. And another really unique color story, obviously, or it wouldn't be in this video. Then I have another one from Martine Cosmetics. This is the Mission Triple X palette. And this is just incredible. I mean, look at all the fun options you have in here. And upon first glance, you're going to see that, you know, the shimmers in here, they look like, oh yeah, nice shimmers. You know, they're pretty, but I'm telling you, they're so different and unique and flippy, and the duochrome, multichrome loveliness that I just adore. And, you know, you got vibrancy in here, you've got depth in here, grungy, earthy, vampy, you know, a lot of different fun options in here. You know, these kind of palettes, you can do a 1 or 2 shadow look and done, or you can do 5 and, you know, really mix it up and get really creative. And that's what I love about unique color stories. Then we have another one from Saints, Angels, Sinners. This is the Zodiac Signs 3 palette. And I got to be careful opening this up because, oh man, yeah, this shade has really, these 2 shades actually kind of blew up on me, darn it. But I just need to keep this laying flat. I keep forgetting that the shadows are broken and I like lift it up and stuff, but isn't that gorgeous? And these are all very multi-chrome, duochrome, metallic, you know, just really fun, different finishes, not just your typical shimmer shade. And that's what I think is so unique about this too. Not just the colors and the flips in colors, but just the textures of these shadows are just incredibly beautiful. So much fun. But yeah, this is a tender little baby, tender little morsel here. Then we have this one from Gourmand Girls, and this is the C'est L'Amour palette. And I do think that this is a very unique color story. I mean, yes, you got a lot of maybe similar tones in here, like reds and pinks, but this shade right here, it's called We. Like right now it looks pink, but then it looks green. So cool. And I love the fact that there's a black matte in here. The depth of the red shades are really nice. And I've said this before, but this color story says love to me. You know, when I think of love, these are the colors I think of. But you know, this might not be as unique as some of the other color stories I've shown you, but I still do think it's a really pretty unique palette and just so much fun in here. Then we have another one from Ladybug Glow, and this is just the Ladybug Glow palette. And this is such a gorgeous color story too. How fun. Like rainbowy, but like neon rainbowy, I would say. And you also have these 2 or 3 shimmer shades down here. This is so bold and so dynamic. I use this as an inner corner shade and I was like, hello, like I could have been seen from outer space. So amazing. And these 2 shimmer shades are very duochrome, multichrome. They're just gorgeous. And I think that's what's so fun about unique color stories and unique shimmers is that it just takes your look, in my opinion, to like the next level. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I could pull out a monochromatic palette and use, you know, softer, more monotone shimmers and my look would be really nice. You know, anybody's look would be really nice, but these kind of shimmers just make it like, whoa, you know, just really like to the next level. Love this palette. Just, it performs so well too. Just beautiful. So happy that I have Ladybug Glow palettes in my collection. All right, let's go with another Ladybug Glow palette. This is the Pond Lily palette. Super cute packaging. And I think that out of the Ladybug Glow palettes that I own, I think this is my favorite color story. I just think it's so gorgeous. The shimmers in here are so unique. The mattes, just the combination of everything, the textures. I mean, you got a lot of really beautiful, fun options in here. Just stunning. Love this palette. Then we have another one from Saints, Angels, Sinners. This is the Fairy Tale palette. And this was done in collaboration with Fairy Light, Sophia Sadie. Cute packaging. And I just think this color story is stunning. Again, another winner from Saints, Angels, Sinners in terms of the color story and the formula. I have a few, there's a couple other Saints, Angels, Sinners palettes that I wanted to pull into this video and I cannot find them. I think they might be downstairs actually. But what I will say is that out of the Saints, Angels, Sinners palettes that I have so far, I think this has the best formula in it. I cannot wait to get Steph's palette, Steph's Pure palette. I know I'm going to probably feel that way about that palette over this one even. Oh, it's so gorgeous. But just the different tones you have, the dynamicness of these shades, the softness of these shades, the black matte is stunning, you know, just so many different options. Again, that's one of the things I love about these types of palettes, these unique color stories, is you can do so many different things with them, but this is gorgeous. Love it. Then we have the Always Be a Sunflower in a Field of Pricks palette from X&O Cosmetics. And I think the packaging is so freaking adorable. Field is spelled wrong. I always have to point that out because it does kind of bug me a little bit because I was raised by a teacher who I had to spell everything perfectly or I was in big trouble. But look at how cool this color story is. So many colorful options in here. The shimmers and mattes, everything I've used so far out of this palette worked really well. I think I've pretty much used all of these palettes on my channel before, at least once, if not more. But yeah, just beautiful spring, summery, toned color story here. But just so many different unique options. I love it. And I love the fact that this is a magnetic palette. Isn't that so cute? I love that. Then we have another one from Melt. We only have 2 more palettes, this one and another one, and then we'll be done, I promise. This is the Amore Mariposas palette that Andy from Andy Does Stuff sent to me. And this is such a beautiful, fun color story. Greens, tans, like neutrals, and then we have oranges and terracottas and purples. You know what I mean? It's a good thing that I don't own my own makeup brand. I could never do this. I could never do this, ever. No way. But I love this palette. I love the way it performs. I love the shades. I love the butterflies. Those are very special to me. And just thrilled that Andy sent this to me. You know, this is a very treasured gift in my collection, in my life. I love it. It's so freaking beautiful. And the last one here is the Everyday Sparkle palette from Ladybug Glow. And this was gifted to me or given to me in PR. The brand owner was so kind to do that because she heard that I was on a 6-month no-buy and she really wanted me to have this palette. So that really meant a lot to me. Now, upon first glance, you're going to say, well, that's a neutral palette. There's a lot of neutral palettes in the world, Erica. I don't know how unique that is. But the row of shimmers up here, these 4 shades, are so unique and so different. And like, you know, like look at this shade. So it's green here. And then now it's like kind of a pink shade. This one kind of does pink, peach, and gold. These 2 also have their own unique flip. I mean, how fun. And I do think that even these neutral mattes down here are unique. You know what I mean? Especially in conjunction with the shimmers. Just gorgeous. And for my last true crime video, I used this palette. I used peachy across both lids, and then I just topped it with this shade here called, I think it's called Brijo. And it was gorgeous, you know, very subtle and very soft, but in certain lights, you could really see the multi-chromeness of the shimmer shade. Yeah, there's nothing neutral, well, it's neutral, but there's nothing boring or typical or anything about this palette. I think it's very unique. And that's really fun to have a really unique neutral palette in my collection. So there you have it. Those were the 17 palettes I pulled out of my collection today to show you how unique the color stories are, the formulas, the textures, all that kind of fun stuff. And I know that a lot of you really do like swatching in these types of videos, but I got to get to work and it takes me a while to swatch. I'm not a very good swatcher. And then it takes me a while to clean my arm off and then, okay, get on with it. But I would love to know if you guys have these palettes and what you think of them, if you think they're unique like I do. And if you have any other suggestions or other ideas of palettes in your collection that you feel are really unique, I would love for you to share that in the comment section. I love to talk about makeup, especially eyeshadow palettes. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again on my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.